welcome to a brand new edition of our daily news program on Canal Algérie. Before heading to the stories in detail, let's take a look at today's major headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, receives the Special Representative of the UN Secretary General and the head of the UN Support Mission in Libya, Abdoulaye Batili. Algeria's quota for pilgrimage is increased during the audience granted by the President to the Saudi Minister of Hajj or Pilgrimage and Umrah. Recurrent demonstrations keep marking Morocco's daily life marked by social injustice and the Makhzen's total indifference. And we offer you, by the end of our edition, a free visit to the southern province of Tamarasset to admire the desert beauties. Good evening and welcome back. First, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received on Wednesday the Special Representative of the UN Secretary General and the head of the UN Support Mission in Libya, Abdoulaye Batili. The audience took place at the Presidency of the Republic in presence of the Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad Minister Mtala Mamra and Abdelaziz Khalaf, the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency. Following the audience, the Special Representative of the UN Secretary General and the head of the UN Support Mission in Libya had this to say to the newsman.
I am honored to be received by the President of the Republic. It is in the framework of my visit to Libya's neighboring countries to seek their support to bring stability to Libya and allow the Libyans to speak and find the necessary compromises to settle this crisis. I would like to mention that since the beginning, Algeria has given me all the support in my mission. And here I come again to take the opinion and the suggestions of the President of the Republic in this matter. I am satisfied to his continuous support, and I am sure that the Libyans listen to the neighboring countries which are all affected by this crisis, and all these countries are helping to bring it to an end, among them Algeria. I would like to thank the President of the Republic for this initiative and other initiatives also that allow the international major actors to speak in the same voice.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, equally received on Wednesday the Saudi Minister of Hajj or Pilgrimage and Umrah, Tawfiq bin Fawzan al-Rabi'. The audience took place at the Presidency of the Republic in the presence of the Minister of Religious Affairs and Endowments, Youssef Bil Mahdi, and the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency, Abdelaziz Khalaf. The Saudi Minister of Hajj or Pilgrimage and Umrah made the following statement. Let's have a listen.
شرفت بلقاء فخامة الرئيس وكان يعني لقاء رائع.
I had the honor to meet the President Abdelmajid Tebboune. Our meeting was exceptional, fruitful, and reflected the profound relationship between Saudi Arabia and Algeria. The custodian of the two holy mosques highly appreciate Algeria. Thank God the relations are very strong between the two countries. Therefore, I came here to visit our country, Algeria. It is the first time that a Minister of Umrah and Pilgrimage visit this country, so as to welcome all Algerians wanting to perform the rituals without any restrictions. We welcome as well this year's pilgrims, notably with the lifting of restrictions related to age and number. We've agreed on a number of 41,300 pilgrims from Algeria. As for us, we will grant all the facilitations for pilgrims so they could perform their rituals of Hajj in the best conditions. The relations binding us to Algeria are once again strong and profound. We support everything that could upgrade them between the two peoples and the two countries. I thank Algeria for its warm welcome. Once again, it was a fruitful visit. Thank you.
مر العصور فنقول يعني نحن ندعم كل ما يساهم.
Still with the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, who received on Wednesday the Bulgarian ambassador to Algeria, Roman Petrov, who bid him a farewell visit following the end of his mission to our country. The audience took place in the presence of the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency, Abdelaziz Khalaf. The Bulgarian ambassador to Algeria, Roman Petrov, had this to say on the occasion.
اليوم يوم حزين علي نفرق بالجزائر. It is a sad day for me because I have to leave Algeria, and it is also an honor for me to be received by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. This meeting was an opportunity to review the historical bilateral relations between Bulgaria and Algeria. Both countries have great potentials, and we are working to find the appropriate mechanisms to make the most of this potential in the common interest of the two countries. I would like to thank the Algerian people for their hospitality and the warm welcome that was reserved for us. In this respect, although we are set to leave Algeria, my wife and I are always glad to know you. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the success.
On Wednesday, the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman chaired a meeting of the government, a meeting during which two draft executive decrees were examined. The first sets the organization and modalities of the functioning of regional schools for lawyers' training, which was presented by the Justice Minister. The second concerns the decommissioning of a part of the Ouled Zaid forest in Soqahras province, destined for the construction of an electrical substation, presented by the Agriculture Minister. The government further examined a draft executive decree on the modalities of approval of medical devices, presented by the Minister of the Pharmaceutical Industry. This project aims to ensure the availability of the medical services on the national market and to guarantee as well the proper functioning of health institutions and a better care for patients. At the end of the meeting, the Minister of Digitization and Statistics presented a communication on the assessment of the 6th General Census of Population and Housing. This report shows the first results concerning the inhabitants and the housing stock in Algeria, drawn from collected information across the national territory. This Wednesday marked the 25th anniversary of the installation of the Council of the Nation. On this occasion, the President of the Senate, Salah Boujil, met with the directors of public and private institutions of the audiovisual and print media. Was present on the spot the General Manager of the EPTV, Nadir Bouqabis. On the occasion, an occasion to commemorate as well a quarter of a century of media coverage and analysis of the Council of the Nation's activities, this constitutional institution which highly participates in the building of the new Algeria. In a different activity, the President of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali, received Sheikh Khalid bin Hilal bin Nasser Al Mawli, President of the Council of the Shura of the Sultanate of Oman, and the accompanying delegation. This visit is part of the participation in the 17th Conference of the Union of the Assemblies of the Islamic Cooperation Organization member states that Algeria will host on January 29th and 30th. For his part, the Minister of Justice, Abdurrashid Tabi, received on Wednesday his Nigerian counterpart, Akta Abdullahi Muhammad. The two parties discussed ways and means to develop the bilateral cooperation in the field of justice. On this occasion, 3 agreements were signed. The first one concerns the civil and commercial fields. The second relates to cooperation in criminal justice, whereas the third relates to the extradition of criminals. To the Algerian-French cooperation now, the 9th session of political consultations between the two countries started on Wednesday at the General Secretariat of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The meeting was co-chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry, Ammar Belani, and his French counterpart, Marie Decotte. The two parties discussed the bilateral relations and operationalization of Algiers' declaration on the renewed partnership in Algeria between the presidents of the two countries last August. The rehabilitation of the railway group Ferrovial based in Annaba province is definitely a topic to be pointed out, with the development that shook the place in this industrial group thanks to the recovery plan worked out to this effect. Report by Najah Diyar.
The public railway group, specializing in the construction of the railway materials and equipment of Annaba, continues to grow, with a turnover of around 1 billion dinars, a number set to be doubled during this current year thanks to the recovery plan launched by the supervisory authority 2 years ago. The business was tied to a single customer, which was problematic. There has been no order since 2017 to this day. We have launched a development strategy to diversify production in addition to the wagons initially manufactured. We have modernized industrial facilities, machinery and manufacturing workshops, which has allowed us to diversify our products for various sectors. Ferrovial wants to reposition itself on the national market, but also target international markets by diversifying its products and customers. This group, which has opted for integrating scientific research and enhancing technical skills, has succeeded in developing several products such as locomotives and containers. Among the essential requirements that have enabled our group to record this remarkable breakthroughs by offering quality products, there is undoubtedly the modernization of industrial equipment, and we are constantly developing our skills. With a workforce of 600 employees, Ferrovial succeeded in meeting the challenge after spending many years clearing its debts. The restructuring plan from which this group benefited has borne fruit, allowing it to regain its place and develop a quality mechanical industry, enough to cope with the heavy burden of imports.
And it is in an atmosphere marked by piety that Abdel Qadir Uthman, the Sheikh of the Ali bin Omar Zawiya of Tolga, was buried on Wednesday. This took place in the presence of the Dean of Jama' al-Jazair, Sheikh Muhammad Ma'moon al-Qasimi al-Husseini, other representatives of Zawiyas, and a crowd of citizens who came from all over the country. In a different context and as a part of the fight against terrorism and organized crime, detachments of the National People's Army carried out several successful operations denoting their professionalism, vigilance and permanent availability. Further details with Ines Killo.
Within the dynamics of the fight against terrorism, detachments of the National People's Army arrested 11 support elements for terrorist groups in separate operations across the national territory. As part of the fight against organized crime and in continuity with the intense efforts aimed at countering the drug trafficking scourge in our country, combined detachments of the National People's Army have arrested, in coordination with the various security services, 48 drug traffickers during operations across the military regions and thwarted attempts to introduce large quantities of drugs across the borders with Morocco, amounting to 8 quintals and 33 kilograms of treated cannabis, while 350 grams of cocaine and 760,914 psychotropic tablets were seized. Otherwise, detachments of the National People's Army arrested in Tamnaras, Burj Beji Mukhtar, Ingizam, Janet, and Tindouf provinces 184 individuals and seized 20 vehicles, 150 generators, 78 jackhammers, 5 metal detectors, and 10 tons of raw gold mixture and stones, as well as quantities of explosive and detonation tools and equipment used in illicit gold mining operations, while 15 other individuals were apprehended and 6 hunting rifles were seized, and huge quantities of foodstuffs intended for smuggling and speculation amounting to 166.35 tons, as well as 18.15 quintals of tobacco and 17,377 units of various beverages, and this is during separate operations across the national territory. In the same context, the border guards thwarted, in coordination with the services of the National Gendarmerie, attempts to smuggle large quantities of fuel amounting to 35,156 liters in Tamnaras, Janet, Tbissa, Al-Taraf and Souq Haras, while 235 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested across the national territory.
Abroad, the Sahrawi government strongly condemns and denounces the practices suffered by the delegation of Sahrawi jurists carried out by the Moroccan authorities. The delegation was taking part in the 16th conference of the Polisario Front. For that, the Sahrawi government calls on the Security Council to assume its responsibilities, intervene as quickly as possible, and take adequate measures to put a definite end to the violations of the Moroccan occupation. To Morocco now, where the silent strategy is still adopted by the Makhzen regime. In face of its people who are suffering from several socio-economic crises, their demonstrations are not taken into consideration, thus keeping the Makhzen regime in dire straits. Melissa Kebash with the details.
Almost every imaginable social crisis is now facing the Moroccan people. The high cost of living, unemployment, poverty, inflation, and social injustices. Even the prices of basic foodstuffs keep increasing, and people are the only victim of this situation. A terrible one that reflects the incapability of their authorities to handle such crises.
The prices here in Morocco are unbelievable. God help us, everything is so expensive. Some people are unemployed and can't afford anything. This government is making the situation even worse.
Despite the demonstrations carried out by people across the Moroccan territories hoping for a response from the Makhzen regime and a solution that could put an end to their daily suffering, everything keeps going down, as nearly all sectors no longer respond to the citizens' needs, namely that of education and health.
بطاطا دايره 6 5 7 حتى ان داكشي اللي موالفين تنشريوه ب2 دراهم ولينا تنشريوه ب 10 دراهم بحال بطاطا ما تتعداش 3 دراهم كل عام الا هاد السنه هادي راه ما واصله 7 دراهم 6. الزبون التقهر اللي كان تياخذ 10 كيلو ولا تياخذ 2 كيلو، اللي كان تياخذ 2 كيلو ولا تياخذ نص كيلو. تخشوف الانسان ما هو مسكين كاين عندنا حنا صورتو هنا في الرباط.
The Makhzen regime, for its part, maintains its position and its silent strategy while ignoring the chaos spread across the Moroccan territories.
In a different context, the CAF president Patrice Motsepe hailed the Chan tournament being held in Algeria, considering it as is the best ever held so far. Let's have a listen.
Excellent, very proud. What makes me even more proud is the stadiums, the energy, the excitement, the enthusiasm. Algeria has a proud football history, and it's something that should make the people of Algeria very proud, and I know it does, but it makes the people of Africa, all of the 54 countries in Africa, are very proud. This has been the most successful Chan so far.
And to wrap up our news with Tamarasat province, one of the best tourist destinations, is not only a hub for travel enthusiasts, but also photographers who cannot miss to capture Algeria's southern magnificent landscapes. Story by Najah Tayyar.
Tamarasat, one of the best deserts in the world, with its high rock mountains touching the sky, and more specifically during this time of the year, consider it as a visual feast for all its visitors, who discover new splendor every visit, such as this sparkling water well that's named Tahaburt by the native tongue, which contains the water flowing from the Ahagar Mountains. Tahaburt means a water source. This is a carbonated water, given that the region was full of volcanic mountains. The Ahagar mountain is the worldwide symbol of the region that receives lots of traveling enthusiasts who were fascinated by its pictures. I took this picture of the traditional outfit and the camels that show one of the sides of the previous inhabitants of the region's life. Tamarasat, with its nature and traditions, never disappointed any artist or visitor.
And with those beautiful pictures, we come to the end of our today's news edition here on Canal Algérie. As always, thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye and take care.